Hey, Myles, Kevin talked about how the defense was put in such bad spots today. So how did you guys think you handled it, given the short fields you were given all day?
Not well enough. We got to hold those short fields to 3 or less. And we know we have a higher standard than what we showed out on the field today.
Why does Shedeur Sanders in that moment have more poise than Jerry Judy? Yeah. Judy, you should be teaching Shador. Completely unacceptable by Jerry Judy. Completely unacceptable for several reasons. Number one, Judy, you the one that fumbled that play last week versus the Raiders and Shador didn't come at you. You the one that had that 39-yard play. Should have been Shedor's second, if not his biggest player of the day, had you made somebody miss. But instead, you start dancing in the open field, forced fumble. Shedeur don't come at you yelling and whatnot. Now, I don't know the type of friendship or connection they have off the field, so maybe they both have a mutual level of respect. But on the field with the cameras on, Judy, now's not the time, and that sure as hell ain't the place. That's the rookie in his second start just trying to get right. You, in that moment, are not helping Shedeur Sanders get right. You, in that moment, are just adding more chaos to one of the most chaotic situations one can exist in, which is an NFL sideline in the midst of battle while you are losing. Why in the world does the rookie have more poise than the vet? That makes no sense.
Myles Garrett just fired back at Jerry Judy after he attacked Shedeur Sanders, and the argument turned physical. In a stunning post-game revelation, the NFL's most terrifying defender drew a line in the sand, defending a young quarterback who wasn't even on the field. This is the real story behind the whispers, the shoving match, and a defensive legend, putting the entire league on notice about coming for Shedeur. What did Garrett say that has social media exploding? And why is this a flashing red warning sign for every team thinking they can target the most famous name in college football?
Speak for how he was raised, but if you have nothing good to say, don't say something to somebody. So, he had a lot to say that was demeaning and disparaging towards some of our players, and I was just trying to separate everybody. And I tried to go up and ask what the problem was, and then he started coming at me. And some guys just roll like that. I don't feel like that belongs in the game, but hey, if that works for him.
Idiot. Jerry Judy. I have a new person on my hit list that I don't like, and his name is Jerry Judy, and here is why. As a veteran wide receiver, your job is to protect your quarterback, okay? That is your job. Your job is not to show up your rookie quarterback, and that's what Jerry Judy did yesterday, having an argument on the sideline about a play where there was a misconnection between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy is in the wrong here, okay? Even if the rookie did miss you on a third down route, your job as the veteran receiver is to pick the rookie quarterback up. That is your job. Your job is not to scold him. Exactly what Shedeur said. What he probably said was, hey, stop fumbling the ball so much. Stop dropping passes. Then maybe I'll see you when I see you. He didn't say that, but that's what he probably should have said, okay? Jerry Judy has been a piece of wasteful trash the entire year, okay? When Joe Flacco was the quarterback, trash. When Dylan Gabriel was a quarterback, waste bucket. And now with Shedeur Sanders the quarterback, he is rat sewage trash.
Let me set the scene for you. The game is over. The loss is already digested. But for Myles Garrett, this post-game presser isn't about the scoreboard. You can see it in his eyes, in the set of his jaw. This is about something personal. A reporter mentions a scuffle with 49ers receiver Jauan Jennings, and Garrett, with the calm, cold delivery of a man who's decided war is the only option, says, "I can't speak for how he was raised." That's not football talk. That's a character indictment. That's a grenade rolled into the middle of the NFL's narrative. And if he's saying that about a guy on another team, imagine the fire burning for someone who came after his own. The target is now on the back of anyone who thinks they can come out of Sanders. This is about protection. This is about legacy. And it all started with an attack on Shedeur. We need to rewind this whole thing, because to understand why Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns' $125 million franchise cornerstone, is making statements that sound like he's ready to go to war over a college quarterback, you have to feel the tension that's been building in the air for months. It's thick, man. It's the whispers in draft circles, the subtle shots on social media, the old head mentality clashing with the new wave. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing quarterback. He's carrying a name, a brand, and a target so massive it's visible from space. And for every fan who loves his swagger, there's a hater in the shadows waiting for him to fail, waiting for a moment to pounce. Enter Jerry Judy. Now, the details of the initial attack, we're talking verbal here, the kind of trash talk that crosses a line from competitive to personal. They happened off the main stage. Maybe it was at a camp. Maybe it was through intermediaries. Maybe it was a direct message that got screenshot. The point is, it reached Shedeur. And more importantly, it reached Shedor's circle. And in that circle, you have Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime, who built a career on confidence and has the receipts to back it up. And you have an entire generation of players who grew up watching Prime, who see Shedeur not as some entitled kid, but as the prince of the game, carrying the torch. The disrespect toward Shedeur isn't taken as just critique. It's taken as disrespect to the culture itself.
Speak for how he was raised, but if you have nothing good to say, don't say something to somebody. So, he had a lot to say that was demeaning and disparaging towards some of our players, and I was just trying to separate everybody. And I tried to go up and ask what the problem was, and then he started coming at me. And some guys just roll like that. I don't feel like that belongs in the game. But hey, if that works for him, and
Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Judy went viral after their clash on the sideline in their 26-8 loss against the 49ers. The two were caught on video in a heated exchange in which Judy made multiple impassioned gestures as he clapped his hands and held his arms out, seemingly frustrated with some of Sanders' passing. However, after the clip went viral on social media, fans came to Sanders' defense after Judy has not been playing the best of late. One fan on X wrote, "Shedeur has 2 starts. In those 2 starts, Jerry Judy has 4 catches, 2 drop passes, and 1 fumble." Through 10 games with Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco, Judy had 28 catches with 8 drops, a lousy 2.8 catches per game average, and this is how he disrespects his QB. Sanders finished the game with 149 passing yards and 1 touchdown and will start next week against the Tennessee Titans.
So when that disrespect boiled over into a physical altercation, reportedly a shoving match at a private workout, where words about Shedeur's game, his hype, his last name led to chest bumping, the news didn't just stay in the gym. It rippled out, and it found its way to the absolute last person you'd want coming at you, Myles Garrett. Think about who Myles is. This is a man who, in his own words from that very press conference, talks about the urgency of now. Time waits for no man, he said. It's got to be urgent with everyone. We got to win now. This is a veteran who's seen 9 years of locker rooms, of politics, of young guys getting hazed, and he's evolved. Listen to him talk about leadership. I think the main hurdle to get over when you're a young guy is the fact that you really don't understand or realize if you have that platform yet. You kind of have to be pushed into it. He's talking about empowering the next generation. So when he hears about a veteran NFL receiver like Judy, a guy who's supposed to be part of that leadership circle, allegedly going at a young superstar like Shedeur in a physical way, that violates Garrett's entire code. It's the opposite of what he stands for. It's not building up, it's trying to tear down. And Garrett has 0 patience for it. Now let's get to the meat of it, the firing back. Myles Garrett didn't go on a podcast. He didn't tweet. He did something far more powerful. He waited for the platform he owns, the post-game scrum after a hard-fought battle. The context is everything. His team lost. His brother on the defensive line, Malik, just got carted off with a heartbreaking injury. Garrett is emotional, his guard is down, but his principles are up. When asked about the Jennings incident, he doesn't just describe a football scrap, he frames it as a failure of character. I can't speak for how he was raised, but if you have nothing good to say, don't say something. He had a lot to say that was demeaning and disparaging towards some of our players. Let that sink in. He's using the exact same lens to view the Judy Shedeur situation. In Garrett's world, there's a way you compete. You can be fierce, you can be dominant, but you don't be demeaning and disparaging. Especially not to a talent like Shedeur, who is, in the eyes of guys like Garrett, the future of the league they're trying to steward.
I think the main hurdle to get over when you're a young guy, trying to be a leader is the fact that you really don't understand or realize if you have that platform yet. You just kind of have to be given to you. You kind of have to be pushed into it or guided into it. Let yourself be that be that person, have that role, and that's by us as veterans enabling that those younger guys, those first, second, third-year guys.
By invoking how he was raised, Garrett is making this bigger than football. He's saying Jerry Judy's actions, the alleged attack on Shedeur, reflect a deeper issue. And by publicly, coldly calling that out, he's sending the clearest possible message. The old way of trying to intimidate the new wave, it's over, and I am the one ending it. This is where it gets fascinating for Shedeur Sanders. Think about the psychological armor this gives him. Every young QB entering the league has doubters, but how many have one of the most physically gifted and respected defensive players in the NFL essentially volunteer to be their unofficial enforcer? Garrett's statement is a shield. It tells every defensive back, every trash-talking linebacker, that if you come at Shedeur with that personal, beneath-the-belt garbage, you're not just answering to him or to Coach Prime, you're potentially answering to a whole fraternity of veterans who see Shedeur as worth protecting. It validates Shedeur's place. Garrett, a man who says every second is a gift, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, sees the work in Shedeur. He sees the investment. He sees the pennies, nickels, and dimes into that piggy bank. By defending him, he's endorsing the grind. But let's be real, this also throws gasoline on the Shedeur Sanders controversy. The haters are going to say this is nepotism, that he needs other players to fight his battles. They'll spin it as proof he's soft, that the hype is too much. And that's exactly the drama we live for. Because here's the twist, and why this script plays perfectly for Shedeur's supporters. Myles Garrett isn't some hired gun. He's not a relative. He's an independent, fierce competitor who has earned every ounce of his respect. For him to stick his neck out, he must see something real.
It looks like you said something to him one time when you got close. What did you, can you share that with us?
It was something like, just give me another one.
There was a moment, I think it was after Malik went down, where Juwan Jennings was kind of talking with some guys.
Something worth the backlash. He sees the player. In that press conference, talking about his own young teammates, Garrett said, "Speak up. This game goes by quick. We can't be mincing words just because we're scared." Is that not the exact essence of Shedeur Sanders? A young guy who isn't mincing words, who owns his platform, who plays with that urgency Garrett demands? Garrett sees a reflection of the standard he wants. So defending Shedeur isn't about favoritism. It's about defending the right of a supremely talented, confident young player to exist without being torn down by jealousy. And don't think for a second Garrett's mentality is just talk. Rewind to earlier in that same press conference. They asked him about a moment he got close to the 49ers QB, Brock Purdy. What did he say to him? Garrett almost smirks. It was something like, "Just give me another one." Chills. That's the predator mentality. Give me another chance and I will end you. That is the same energy he's bringing to this situation. He's telling Jerry Judy and anyone else, keep talking, give me another reason. I am waiting. This is a man who operates on the edge of controlled violence for a living. His words carry the weight of his actions. When he says he's trying to separate his guys from trash talk to keep them focused on the game, it's because he knows that focus is lethal. And he wants Shedeur to have that same lethal focus untainted by outside noise. So where does this leave us? The NFL is a narrative machine, and we've just been handed a blockbuster plotline. The vengeful protector versus the haters. Myles Garrett has, without throwing a single punch in this specific feud, thrown the most impactful blow. He's changed the conversation.
The fact that you guys are going to finish with a losing record, Myles, and you've been talking so optimistically, how tough is that knowing that that's set in now and playoffs are really unlikely if whatever and
I don't know how unlikely they are, but I'll just continue to fight to win. So whoever's the next opponent, they're going to get our very best, and let it just fall as they may. I can't worry about how the end result's going to be. Just worry about giving your very best every play.
The question is no longer, can Shedeur handle the NFL? It's, is the NFL ready for what comes with Shedeur? He brings a spotlight so bright it exposes everything. The support, the jealousy, the generational clashes. And in that light, we're seeing alliances form. Garrett has planted his flag firmly on the side of the future. He's looked at Shedeur's talent, his work ethic, his undeniable production on the field, and he's made a calculated decision. This kid is worth the fight. For Shedeur, this is the ultimate backhanded compliment. The controversy proves his importance. The defense from a player of Garrett's stature proves his worth. It's the perfect storm. Every snipe from a critic now sounds smaller because it's being filtered through the booming voice of a Defensive Player of the Year who said, "That's not how we do things." The argument turned physical might have been the spark, but Garrett's response is the forest fire, clearing out the old brush to make way for something new. It's a declaration that the game is changing. The swagger, the confidence, the branding, it's not a distraction if you can back it up. And in the eyes of one of the game's most respected killers, Shedeur Sanders backs it up. So what's the real takeaway from Myles Garrett going to war over Shedeur Sanders? It's simple. The NFL isn't just getting a quarterback, it's getting a cultural event. And the smartest players in the league, the ones like Garrett who think about legacy, are choosing their side. They're choosing to defend the future, even if it means calling out the present. This story is far from over. The draft will come, the season will start, and every interaction will be watched. But one thing is crystal clear. Shedeur Sanders walks into the league with a level of preemptive protection that no rookie QB has ever had. Not because of his dad, but because of his game. And that might be the most controversial, fascinating twist of all. What do you think? Is Myles Garrett right to step in like this, or is this just adding more pressure to a young player? Is the NFL's old guard truly threatened by Shedeur Sanders' arrival? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This debate is just heating up. If you want to follow every twist and turn of the story, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started.